I really wish I'd have thought about this when I still had the beard. You know, make the Adam Savage ensemble a little bit more, clearer. The term failure is always an option was pretty much coined by Adam Savage in the groundbreaking TV series Mythbusters. The idea, or at least the idea encapsulated in the show contextually, is that in regarding experimentation and science, failure should always be considered, or at least considered to be an option of the outcome. You can plan as much as you want, you can calculate as much as you want, but sometimes things just fail. Is it a failure of the person? Is it a failure of the method? Those are things to be considered. But I want to talk about this as a bit more of a general thesis, I guess. More of like an idea of how to go about your business. Or, maybe even you could say an idea on how to live your life. Because despite the appearances, I'm somewhat a failure at pretty much most things, if not everything. I wanted to write an article, an essay I suppose, a few years ago saying how much of I fail at life and how that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Because I fail a lot. I fail spectacularly a lot. I guess the idea I'm rebelling against is you always listen about successful people failing, but they're still being successful. The general schlubs like you and me, well, we just keep failing. Some people fail upwards. I mean, look how many fucking politicians we get that are just completely, utterly useless. We only see sometimes the triumphs, and we never see a lot of the failures. And a lot of these people will even try and rewrite their histories and completely erase their failure. But let's not forget, we do have a lot of euphemisms and rhetoric around failure, like at first you don't succeed, try again, things like that. And there is a little bit of good wisdom to that kind of idea. Failure is only really true when you can't learn anything out of it. In most cases, you've got to try and find out what went wrong. And for me, I find failure to be a very useful tool. This is kind of what I've been doing with the Down the Shed blogs. Trying to learn a new technique, it's not impossible, but it's very unlikely that you're going to succeed right away. And you can essentially learn and then put into practice, but sometimes you need the actual hands-on experience of trying something before you can actually get a grip on what it is you're doing. And that's kind of true with practically all skills. There's very few people who dive into a skill and master it immediately. That's the thesis around the 10,000 hours. And that's more or less true. The more you use something, the better you get. And you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a lot. The trick sometimes is to know when to pick yourself up and carry on. Know the lessons that need to be learned. And that's something I try and do all the time. It's a hard lesson to learn. And I'm not going to say I've mastered the art of failing upwards. I certainly have not. But I try and make every failure a learning experience. Figure out what went wrong. I'm happy to show my working, even if it fails. And I appreciate feedback, as long as it's constructive, What went wrong? Well, you forgot to do this. Though I'm an idiot. I'll learn for next time. All my mechleth videos have been an experimental process. I'm not just showing you the end results and then saying, haha, this is what I did. I'm going, okay, I'm learning to try this new technique, so let's experiment. And I'm inviting you, the audience, to kind of participate in that with me and learn potentially through my failure. And sometimes you can fail and still succeed. I'll give you an example. This was a botched job. All this cracking, I did not want it. And yet I thought, what can I do with this failure and make it into something that succeeds? And as I said, part of my process with the series is exploring techniques and ideas. So when I turned around and went, well, why not use it as weathering? It's a cracked blade. You can show things like getting dirt in those grooves and stuff like that. So I've potentially turned a failure into success. And it seems that only like 2 people watched the video. And this is where things kind of start to feel cruddy, because I tried to turn a failure into success and it technically failed. Hopefully the 2 people that watched it really got something out of it, but it's still a lesson sometimes you have to learn, is to move on from a failure. And I'm still learning that lesson. I genuinely thought I did something really cool and people would appreciate it, but apparently they didn't. Even as I do this, I'm wondering, is anyone even going to watch this? I've only got 18 people subscribed to my channel. I have 100 or so people liking my Facebook page. I have apparently a couple hundred friends. I can't convert them into likes or views. I know a couple people are, and I love and appreciate them for that, and they've supported me. But even this YouTube video series feels like a failure. I can't help it. You go, I'm putting in all this time and effort, and it feels like I'm failing. You can't help but wonder, what's the point? Here's the optimistic part, is that I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying even the routine of making something, editing it down, uploading it onto YouTube. I wish the feedback was better, or at least I had some. A big shout out to Bandy Seed, who actually commented on my Mario Boots video, telling me actually a technique to help improve my quality of my boots. And that is greatly appreciated. It makes me feel better, strangely enough, to know that someone's actually watching my stuff, wanting to comment and actually help me improve. I need to go get some dubbing and try it out. I'm happy to try that out. So this stuff can still have a very positive feedback. That being said, I had a downvote on a video about the items of your cosplay in regards to how important it is to build, or what your time focus should be on. I got someone downvoting that. It's probably one of the least innocuous videos I've got, but somebody went and downvoted it. The funny thing is, I'm not mad. I made a joke about it on Facebook, but honestly, I wasn't even mad. Part of me is like going, congratulations, you fed the algorithm, you've actually provided some feedback. But the fact that they didn't leave a freaking comment was not like, okay, so what was wrong with the video? This isn't a constructive feedback. What didn't you like? Did you think I was too preachy? Did I ramble too long? Was the noise quality terrible? I can't even freely admit that I'm shooting shit down a shed. I even make a joke that the pool pump next door is my constant co-host. Doesn't mean to say this is all relatively easy. I mean, even the effort doing this now, I have no script. I don't script these vlogs. I have ideas. I kind of know what I want to talk about. But even that makes these things hard. I had a hell of a time mentally getting through the last vlog about, can we appreciate art made by monsters? It's uploaded now, but we'll be honest, and I used the excuse that I had a lot of things going on that I couldn't edit it and upload it, which is still true. I was making a lot of costumes, I was doing a lot of stuff, but part of me was very apprehensive of finishing and uploading that video. I thought I made a catastrophe of that video. I'm still not 100% behind it, in all honesty. It's not as bad as I thought. I probably could have made some of those arguments a bit better. I probably rambled a little bit too much on some things. I still feel like I did a good job, and I was letting my worry about my failure take over me. And it still happens. The latest Does Whatever a Spider Can video has been sitting on my timeline for a good 2-something odd months. I had already recorded all the audio. I had got a third of the way through the editing before I started doing all this other vlogging. But part of me was going, what's the point? I'm putting in so much effort into this video series, but nobody's really responding to it. I got some good feedback. I shown it to one of my new friends who's a massive Spider-Man fan, and he really enjoyed it. And I still can't bring myself to finishing it for some reason. I open up the timeline, I go up to it, and I don't want to finish it. I'm not entirely 100% happy with the recording. I'm really not 100% happy with the script. I do feel like I missed a few of the points I was originally going to make when I was playing the game and I wanted to get it down. that's essentially a failure in and of itself for me to really I should start taking more notes and fitting the script around those notes. I'm 8 episodes into that, and that series takes a lot of time, because not only do I have to record and edit, I've got to play the game. And if I want to truly talk about the game in its finale, I have to complete the game. Which, of course, if you've seen some of the videos, there's ones I completely gave up on. Particularly the text-based adventure, Captain America and Spider-Man and Dr. Doom's Revenge, those kind of things. Or there's one game where it is literally nigh impossible to complete because the game is actually impossible. They coded that, and I even show you how to complete the game because you have to glitch it out. So there you go. Even in video gaming, failure is always an option. Even when sometimes they'll actually make sure you cannot complete a game. Failure is an option. You can't succeed because the game developers have put a physical limitation on what you can do. There's also like the text-based one. It's such a cryptic, hard game that sometimes you just go, nah, screw this. Failure is an option. So all that being said, where do we go from here? And I'm trying very hard not to have the Buffy song stuck in, and there it is. Yay, brain. So where do we go from failure? I can't tell you. All I know is that personally, I try and pick up the pieces and continue on. If that requires reevaluating things, so be it. If it requires never coming back to it, that can happen. Sometimes something is so disheartening that you just don't want to deal with it anymore. And then what happens when the failure is not yours? What happens when the failure is because of somebody else? This is the failure I honestly have the hardest time reconciling with. I can kind of handle myself being a fuck up because I've been a fuck up all my life. I'm kind of used to it. What happens when you try desperately hard to succeed and your success is impeded by another person? That still screws me up to this day. And that has happened more times than I would like to admit publicly. And there are times where I'm like, I don't want to hate the person for doing it. But when there's no remorse, or at least when someone doesn't learn their lesson and they just constantly make you fail, or they're constantly causing things to fail around you, that is hard. That's harder than anything else, in my opinion. And yes, I've lost friendships with that. I've got rid of friends and I've had friends get rid of me. Sometimes you fail at communicating with a person and you lose contact and touch. And that itself sometimes feels like you can't do anything about it. And I think that's probably even the worst thing as well, is that the sense of not being able to fix a thing is worse than the failure itself. I put myself out there in these videos and I try and post online. I try and feed the machine. But if no one listens, then what can I do? Do I pay Facebook to promote these videos like I did with my business? Again, I haven't publicly said this, but that's a failure, my business. But if I'm paying all this money to advertise and nobody's responding, what can I do? How do I know that I should keep going? How do I know that I should stop? But there's one thing failure has always taught me, is that when I've got the power to continue on, I should continue on. I should learn from my mistakes. I should keep going. Unless it gets to the point where failure is the only option, then I should consider it. I'm not ready to give up on this YouTube stuff yet. It does take a while. I'm not expecting to be get instantly recognizable overnight. I'm having fun just making the content. And this is probably one of these videos that'll sit in the back catalog and maybe someone will come across it and go, wow, that incredibly successful person has made a really video on how much he thinks he's a fucking failure. Or more than likely, no one's going to see this video and maybe some random person is going to see it and go, wow, what the hell happened to this fucking loser? He obviously must have failed because he's no longer on YouTube. But if that's it, that's it. Sometimes I just can't do anything about that. The only thing I can keep doing is trying, I guess. And as long as I'm enjoying it, I might as well keep doing it. The irony is I didn't want this to be a negative video. I didn't particularly have a plan. It's just, again, something I just been thinking about. Hell, maybe some of you are going through the same thing and you can take a bit of solace in knowing that there's other people out there. Maybe some people think I'm somehow this gigantic successful person. I doubt it. You know, oh, he makes all these costumes. He's currently, you know, does all this. I'm absolutely knackered from doing so much charity work. I'm doing all this weird event stuff. I'm building all this crap. I don't feel accomplished. Don't think I ever will feel accomplished, to be honest. I could be a multi-millionaire. I'm not sure if I'll ever feel accomplished, because the failure will always be there. I'll probably always feel the failure. I could probably achieve world peace and I'll feel like a failure that I didn't achieve galactic peace. As a really terrible metaphor, I guess sometimes you just got to focus on the small stuff. Work at succeeding in the small stuff. It's one of the reasons why I'm studying. If I'm improving myself, then I can increase my chances the next time. I'll have something that looks better on my resume. I might be able to get a job in a different field. I might feel successful that way. Or I could just get into a really shitty corporate job just so I can earn some money and make other cool shit. I started to organize my 40th birthday party. Part of me really hates the idea that I'm turning 40 and I don't feel accomplished. In anything. I'm still single. I don't have a full-time job. I don't own my house. I'm not even renting a house. I can't even afford to rent. I feel like a failure in almost every aspect of my life. And I will admit, sometimes it gets dark. But there's ways to combat that. I can make cool things. I can feel good at the accomplishments I do doing cool things. I can go and do a charity event. And even though I freaking killed my legs doing so, I made so many kids happy on last Friday being Mario. Yeah, all the stress and all the aggravation and all the time and all the work and all the cramped shoulders and all the aches and pains and all those times where I'm like, I'm not going to get this done. I fucked this up. I actually fucked the straps up on the Mario and I fixed them the night before the event. All that extra effort I put in and all the times I was like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. This is going to work. And you just keep plowing through it. There are people that will probably go, yeah, you're still a failure. You didn't make a lot of money. You didn't do all this stuff, but screw those assholes. I had kids loving the fact that they got to talk to Mario, and you can't put a price on that. And I think that's where I'm going to end this on a very good positive note, talking about failure. So naturally I have to go into the shitty spiel. I don't like it. I just admit, I don't like doing this. It feels crummy. But apparently this is part of what you have to do to succeed on YouTube. I have to tell you to like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell down there because you've obviously clearly come across this randomly and not seen my post. So, you should be doing it anyway if you're a fan. But these call to actions apparently are part of the thing. This is why I don't want to do Patreon. I feel bad enough as a failure doing YouTube. How bad is it going to be when I can't earn money on Patreon? And well, Patreon's going down the gurgler by the sounds of it. No, positive. Feedback is always appreciated. Constructive criticism, always appreciated. There's one thing you want to take out of this video, even if it's just, wow, what a loser. I surely feel better than him. Go ahead. But the one thing I want you to take away from this video, I guess, is to use pop culture. Never give up, never surrender. Learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, figure out what went wrong and how can you fix it. I've been going through so many technical difficulties lately, it's not funny. You probably see a thing come up occasionally that says technical difficulties. My camera can only record like a certain amount of footage every file, and so there's a gap between every file. It's either that or constantly restart the camera. There's a lot of technical annoyances that come to editing, but I have a kitty. At the end of the day, failure is always an option. Don't ever forget that, but learn from your failures. Keep going forward. And don't forget to pet your cats. Thank you.